to the American News Network. My name is Franklin Davis.
And I am Josh Gates. Today is March 2nd, 1870. Today our topic of discussion will be immigration. We are focusing on the 1830s to the 1860s.
The United States has always been a land of immigrants, but in recent years people have been pouring in faster than ever. Today we will try to find out how immigration has changed over the past few decades.
We will look at how immigration has been affected by natural causes, as well as technological developments. We will also examine the influence that immigrants have had on the American culture. Now let's send it over to one of our senior correspondents, Henry Smith. Good morning, Henry. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Josh?
I'm doing great. Thank you for your time. I just have a few questions. So could you tell us about immigration, how it was in the United States around the 1830s?
Good question. Immigration in the 1830s and before was relatively consistent. There was usually a gradual flow of 60,000 people per year.
Wow, that's a huge number right there. So how about the 1840s and after?
That's an even better question. The decades following the 1830s, especially 1840s and 1850s, were a time when this number spiked up by almost 100 to 200,000 people. The sudden spike was because of the decreasing amount of space in Europe and natural factors such as crop failures.
So could you tell us a bit about immigration in the U.S. Around the 1860s?
Of course. By the 1860s, there was a large and diverse population in America, which had come in from various countries. Immigrants from Ireland and Germany came in with as many as 2 million people from between the 1830s and 1860s.
So why did so many people immigrate during this time period?
So people from Germany and Ireland were usually motivated to come because of the crop failure there, specifically the Great Famine of Ireland. Europe was also running out of room, so they were displaced. They wished to come to America, which was advertised as the land of freedom and opportunity. Other countries such as Africa, Argentina, Australia, and Scandinavia came motivated by new hope and more land.
So this must have had a big influence on American culture, right?
You're right. Since there was so many different people from different parts of the world coming to America, there has been an increase in diversity and culture. A St. Patrick's Day parade was recorded being more celebrated in America than it was in Ireland. German immigrants also promoted the drinking of beer and other cultural activities that they brought in from Germany. Although the Irish tended to stay by the coast, Germans preferred to head west into the new land and settle down to create farms.
So with so many immigrants coming in, were there any problems or issues that occurred? I would suspect so.
You're right. There were some issues that came in with the sudden mass movement to America from around the world. Irish and blacks tended to compete a lot for jobs, usually ending in race riots since many of these people were jobless. Many of the people from Ireland were also disliked by the Americans and tended to face hate in the cities that they largely populated, such as New York City and Boston.
Fascinating. Thank you for your time. Now let's focus on some of the key events and key individuals of this time period.
Joining us now is another senior correspondent, Charles Johnson.
Hi Franklin, hope you're having a good morning.
I'm doing fine, Charles. What can you tell us about the developments that our country has taken regarding immigration?
One development that helped the efficiency of immigration was the advancement of steamships. Before, journeys to America would take 10 to 12 weeks, but after the advancements, it would take 10 to 12 days. This also made the journeys much less expensive than going to Australia, Argentina, or South Africa. The Germans in particular created the Conestoga wagons, which were used for long-distance traveling, Kentucky rifles, Christmas trees, the popularity of beer, and the concept of kindergarten. In general, the greater populations, especially the ones in New York and Pennsylvania, led to more urbanization, which led to more advancements. Problems such as foul sewage and impure water occurred due to the increased population. And to fix this, Boston created a sewer system in 1823, and New York started using a piped-in water supply in 1842.
Was religion affected by the immigration?
The Germans and Irish introduced Roman Catholicism to America. They created a separate church and were ranked first in popularity in 1850.
Thanks, Charles. Let's send it back to Josh, who is speaking with Adele, a German immigrant.
Hello, Adele. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Josh. Thank you.
So would you mind telling me a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Well, I came from Germany in 1860. My family and I are Protestants and came to the United States to seek economical opportunities and to gain political and religious freedom. We established successful farms in the West. We value education and despise slavery.
Wow, so what inspired you to immigrate to the United States?
Well, my family and I saw the success of Karl Schulz, a German immigrant who traveled here in 1850, I believe. As you may know, he's a political leader, journalist, and an orator who came to the United States after his participants in the German Revolution of 1848. However, he was imprisoned, but then escaped and came to America. He then settled in Wisconsin, according to some of my friends, and became involved in the anti-slavery movement. Schulz is now traveling the South to report conditions for President Andrew Johnson. These reports include advocating the rights of blacks. Another prominent German immigrant is John Peter Zenger, who was a printer and journalist in New York City. His immigration to the United States in the 1700s demonstrated to my family that there was success in America. In addition, there is Henry Villard, who is an American journalist and financier who came from Germany in around 1850. In Germany, he was a part of the Reformed Church because both of his parents were Protestants. And then when he arrived in America, he hid his name because he did not want anyone returning him back to Germany. Despite this struggle, he studied in Illinois and Chicago, where he published many articles in successful newspapers. And then there's Isidor Strauss. He was born in Germany and is a politician and businessman. His family, persecuted by Jews, emigrated to America in 1850. He joined his father in the dry goods business in Georgia. After the Civil War ended, he moved to New York. Strauss has made long strides in politics and is making a difference in our political system today. This inspired my family to come to America to become successful like these four key individuals.
Oh, thanks for the information, Adele. So what were the hardships you endured when you immigrated here?
Great question, Josh. Well, when we settled here in the West several years ago, we faced a lot of prejudice and mistrust. Because of this, we formed German communities in our area. However, this led to even more resentment by the Americans because they felt as though the German merchants, craftsmen, and tradesmen were taking their jobs. Germans were not the only immigrants to face these hardships, but the Irish did too.
Wow, that's interesting. Can you tell us more?
Well, many of the Irish immigrants settled in the Boston area. They were portrayed as illiterate drunks in newspapers. Many Irish immigrants seeking jobs in any industry were confronted by signs reading, "Irish need not reply." Also, Scandinavians came to the United States.
Oh, thank you so much for your time and information. So now let's take a look back at what we have learned.
So immigration was relatively constant before the 1830s, but increased in the 1840s due to technological developments such as the steamboat and natural occurrences such as the Great Famine.
Many immigrants to the United States, such as Adele, Carl Schurz, Ingrid Bergman, and Henry Villard, have led successful careers and have become valued members of our society, inspiring even more immigrants to come to our nation.
Thank you for watching this segment. Tune in tomorrow when we examine the changes in transportation in this time period.